This is The Body Project, written and illustrated by Coley. This message comes to you from a plus-size woman. That's me. At the start of this project, I did not consider myself a plus-size woman. The Body Project led me down a road of discovery on which I found my new self-confidence, and I figured out how I fit into society as a woman. As I take you through the journey that I went through, your perception of yourself or others might change. So keep an open mind, because you never know what you'll learn. So, the whole point of this project is to understand what plus size means to you. I will give you some definitions that I came up with, and then some explanations from some other sources. But at the end of the day, it is your job to create your own definition that best suits you. So, let's talk about what plus size is. You may have noticed lately that companies are emphasizing body acceptance more. This includes more plus size models and plus size clothing lines. This term is being thrown around in our culture with newfound popularity, but there's no concrete answer that has appeared as to what exactly plus size is. We could get technical and say it is anything over a women's size 8, or the definition from dictionary.com that says it's a, quote, extra large size category of clothing, especially for women. Or maybe we should throw in terms like obese, fat, or curvy just to really confuse everyone, because these terms are used interchangeably in different parts of society, making it particularly difficult to distinguish how the term plus size fits into our world. Our country has a problem with fat. We have been taught to despise fat people, and we have a fear of fat engraved in our minds. This discrimination has been deemed still appropriate in society. So while most people would understand it is completely wrong to make fun of somebody for their skin color, those same people will still call someone fat. In Janet Fikkan and Esther Rothblum's Is Fat a Feminist Issue? Exploring the Gendered Nature of Weight Bias, this attitude is proven through research and study. Upon reviewing job candidate desirability, they found that when raters had descriptions of appearance, fat women were rated more negatively than non-fat women, and when appearance was controlled, this negative attitude was considerably reduced. Prejudice against people of a large size is not okay. Oppression of any kind is unacceptable, but women have to face this on many different fronts. Fat phobia is intensified by sexism for women. When you are taught to hate fat, what happens if you think you are fat? Not all women have the luxury of possessing a normative body. I am one of those women. I am a proud size 12, which by our previous definitions means I am plus size. This societal creation of what fat means is damaging to girls of all ages. In the book Fashioning Fat by Amanda Cerniowski, she writes that fat women live from the neck up, which means living with, distracting from, or consistently trying to change your own body. Being plus size is like wearing a scarlet letter. It is a symbol of revulsion and failure, and worst of all, not beautiful. Beauty is a social construct, but somehow women are not the ones in charge of that construction. Our bodies have to fit into these defined parameters, and that is not how the human body works. Right now, thin is in, and fat is something that should be reduced, melted, sucked out, flushed, smashed, and generally absent. The image that is being set up for girls growing up in the 21st century is that they can only be desirable in one form. The price paid by women who have deviant bodies is emotional, psychological, and more. Studies have found a positive correlation between increased body weight, suicidal ideation, and suicide attempts among adolescent girls. Perceptions of body weight mean more to a teenage girl than consumerism and magazine covers. They are significant factors that contribute to self-hate. This beauty standard is continually pushed through the fashion industry, though. The plus-size clothing market represents only 14% of the total revenue in women's apparel. This makes no sense because 65% of American women are considered plus size. It seems that the majority of women don't have a place in the fashion industry. But what would capitalism be without this inconsistency? The unattainable is ultimately what drives the market, and every woman being thin is simply unattainable. Fashion's tunnel vision is built on a lie centered on the ideals of beauty and glamour. I guess fat just doesn't fit in with these ideals. Fat is not cool, it's not sexy, it's not fashionable. A few years ago, the CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch was harshly criticized for saying that fat people, quote, don't belong in their clothes, admitting to being exclusionary in their target audience. Market leaders just like him are the ones who imply in their advertising that plus size means a failure to keep up with societal expectations. I would just like to say that I am by no means a failure in the eyes of anyone. I proudly represent what it means to be plus size. Plus size women need to be taken out of the minority and welcomed back into the circle of just being another beautiful woman. But in order to do this, the concept of plus size should be eliminated altogether. The market should not categorize women through their dress size. I know it can be scary to go against the status quo for retailers. As I have demonstrated, there's unfortunately a stigma attached to the plus size community. The fashion industry is always being called bold and fresh. So let's make fat bold and fresh. Let's challenge contemporary beauty standards and show that fat can be desirable in a healthy way. The plus-size individual is not a distinct customer in her own market. She's a woman in the vast market of women. Regardless of which section she shops in, she should feel empowered by unlimited choices. Being empowered is a way to reclaim femininity and beauty. Plus-size women should not feel shame about their body. It is time to change cultural concepts. As a newly discovered plus-size woman myself, I am proposing a new market strategy based on acceptance. You can take the job of defining beauty into your own hands. While this narrative is aimed towards women, this responsibility lies in the hands of all genders, shapes, and sizes. We want to be seen as beautiful. We want to be seen for more than our weight. We want to grab your attention because we are special, both physically and beyond. Women work so hard to mold their bodies to fit an image. Instead, I am declaring that we empower ourselves by molding the image to fit our bodies.